Identity theft. So Thanksgiving morning, I get a text from my sister and it says, Happy Thanksgiving, and there's a picture of a driver's license and it's got all her information. The picture's not her. It doesn't look anything like her. It looks like a legitimate driver's license, 100%. So what happened, and this is this year, this literally happened, you know, if you guys are watching this video last week, okay? So I'm like, okay, how did this even happen? You know, she's an 800 credit score, so meticulous, pays attention to everything. Well, thank God she signed up for Chase Credit Journeys. And look, there's a lot of credit card companies that offer these types of services for free where they monitor your credit. So in her case, it was an alert from Chase that said, hey, your credit's just been run in, you know, XYZ California at this dealership. And the reason why I'm not going to give you guys too many details is because this is a criminal case at this point. So basically what happened is someone accessed her identity. We're not sure how. You know, we can tell by the address that it's probably older data that they got. And they were trying to buy a car. Yeah, they were trying to buy a car the night before Thanksgiving. Now look, she had 2 of her bureaus already frozen, but the third one is incredibly difficult to freeze sometimes, and so that one was not frozen, and that is what the car dealership ran. So thankfully, you know, Chase alerted her. She went, what? You know, and she was looking at her email. Thank goodness it wasn't a busy night because usually she's incredibly busy at work. So she called the car dealership, got all the details. You know, they sent over the driver's license. They're like, you know, you need to verify your identity, all this stuff, talks to the police. You know, it's a big deal. It's a big, big deal. And so this is why we're going to talk about credit freezing today. Now, number one, I don't care how careful you are with your credit. I don't care how careful you are with your social security or date of birth. The odds of you getting hacked are very high. It's that simple. The IRS has been hacked. Major medical corporations have been hacked. Almost every financial institution at some point or another has been hacked. You know, stores that you guys get your basic stuff at have been hacked. Credit card companies have been hacked. The bureaus have been hacked. Hackers are good, guys. Like, not good people. I mean, there's some hackers for good, but there's bad hackers out there and they're very talented. So the bottom line is the odds of you getting hacked at some point during your life are high. So what can you do to protect yourself? Okay? Credit monitoring. Is that a good idea? Yeah, that's a good idea. But my favorite is credit freezing. Okay, so let's talk about what a credit freeze, is, because it's misinterpreted a lot. So I always have my credit on lockdown. It is frozen, you know, and people assume, well, if your credit's frozen, you can't use your credit cards. Wrong. I can still use my credit cards every single month. What can't happen is no one can open up a line of credit without that freeze being lifted. Yeah, so like, and look, beyond the whole security thing, so like for instance, if someone tried to run my credit because they got my information, best of luck. It's gonna come back to whoever they're trying to run it as frozen. And the lender, or, well, it's always a lender, right? The lender, the car company is gonna say, hey, you've gotta unfreeze your credit and then we can run it. Well, if you're a psychopath thief, odds are you're not gonna have access to unfreeze my credit, because the freezing process actually is, it can be complicated, and it's something that would be very hard to hack all 3 bureaus, you know, credit freeze passwords, as well as all your information. I mean, it would be next level. Am I saying that no one can do it? No. I mean, look, I guarantee you there's a hacker watching this right now laughing, letting me know that he can do everything he or she that they want. But it's not as common as the basic B's criminal of identity theft, right? Okay, so how do you freeze your credit? It's super simple. You're gonna go to 3 bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And you can find their addresses by typing in like TransUnion credit freeze, Experian credit freeze, Equifax credit freeze. Now, if you guys are typing that in, I want you to be really careful and make sure it's the legitimate Equifax site, or the legitimate Experian, or the legitimate TransUnion. There's lots of different ways to cross-check. Do not just type in that search phrase on Google and click on the top site. The reason I'm actually not gonna put links in the comments is because I'm concerned that a hacker could get in and change them. Seriously, if you can hear my stomach, I probably should eat. Okay, moving on. So, freezing credit. It's not that hard. And sometimes people are like, oh, well, I've heard it's really hard to unfreeze. No, it's not. I have to unfreeze my credit every single year for like 24 hours when I renew my licenses. It takes me 8 minutes. The key is that for every single bureau, you're going to have a passcode. So you want to make sure you know what that passcode is. You know, make sure you put it somewhere safe. You know, mine are all away from each other. Like, you're not going to find a treasure trove of my passcodes. You're going to have to go on a Scooby-Doo mystery hunt. You better get the map, you better get a shovel. Like, it's gonna be a pain for you. For me, it's super easy because I'm aware that when I set up those freezes that, you know, to remember that information. So that's my real top tip to you. Now, a lot of times what they'll do when they're establishing the freeze or they're unfreezing it is they're gonna ask you some quiz questions based on your credit history. Let me be very, very clear on this. Take your time with those questions, think them through, take a minute on each one, because there is a bureau where if you get a question wrong, the only way you can freeze or unfreeze your credit is by mail. Yeah, that is not a good thing. You do not want to have to wait to do that. So in most states, it doesn't cost anything to freeze your credit. There are a couple states where they're allowed to charge you, so it may be $10 or $15, but it is cheaper than credit monitoring, you know, the really soused up credit monitoring. And it will protect you to a level because people won't be able to open up new trade lines in your name. Okay. Now, with the car thing, sometimes people are like, well, I froze one. Freeze them all. Freeze them all, because different types of credit use different bureaus. So in my sister's case, that one bureau wasn't frozen. Okay, now if it had been frozen, it wouldn't have even gotten that far. Now, does she still have some random person out there that has all her information? And is she going to have to file a police report? Yes. Yes, you have to file a police report when this stuff happens. She also had to reach out to the Federal Trade Commission. That's something you do, is you reach out to the FTC. She had to put an alert on everything. And, you know, she's working to figure out, like, do I contact the DOJ? What else do I need to do? Because, like, I mean, this is someone impersonating her. This is when you hear about, you know, people impersonating people to steal their health insurance, to steal, file tax returns on the other person and steal their refunds. Like, my sister never gets a refund, so I hope they enjoy paying the bill. But look, there's a lot of sketchy stuff out there, so you got to do what you can to try to protect yourself. So easy, number one, credit freeze, okay? And the other thing is, from like a shopping mentality, it makes it so you can't open up more credit cards. That's a good thing. Like, you don't need to open up a Best Buy card because you're getting a TV. You don't need a Nordstrom's card. You don't need a Target card. Oh my gosh, they're giving me 4% off of chips today. You don't need a Safeway card. I don't even think they have it yet, but you know it's coming. The key is you don't need all these credit cards anyways. A credit freeze will not lower your score. It doesn't impact your ability to use the trade lines you already have, and it does make it so you have to think before you open up any more, which I love as a lender. I think it's so smart. You know, whenever there's a delay in an instant gratification in a purchase type situation or opening credit, it really can benefit you. So credit freezing, do it, okay? There's not one service that freezes all of the bureaus, so watch out for that. You really want to go to each bureau specifically. Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Okay. Now, the other thing, and this is what saved her, is that it was the Chase credit journeys. A lot of credit cards have where you can set up alerts. So for instance, for myself, if over $1 is spent on any of my credit cards, I get an alert. If more than $1 is taken out of any of my bank accounts, I get a text, you know. And the reason I do that is I've had credit card numbers stolen multiple times throughout the years. And it makes it so you can call the credit card company real quick and say, hey, what is that? That's not me. You know, I'm sitting on my couch. I'm watching Selling Sunset. I'm trying to figure out how to apply fake lashes. That was not me. So that's free, guys. You can go into your bank settings. You can go into your credit card settings and set up these alerts so that you know if any activity is occurring. Okay. Next thing, anything you can do, you know, double, triple authentication, the next steps in terms of security, do it. I know it's a pain. I know it's annoying to have to wait for the text to get into your bank account or whatever else, but do it. Just do it. It is not worth playing with. You do not want to be wiped out by cyber criminals. Do not underestimate them. I cannot say this enough. Do not underestimate hackers and cyber criminals, ever. Ever. Okay? So, here's what we're doing. We're going to the bureaus. We're freezing our credit. We are signing up for alerts on all of our credit cards and all of our bank accounts so that if any charges are made, we are notified. Okay? And we're also just going to be pretty careful with giving our information. Like if someone called me, there's all these scams right now where basically they call you and they're like, hey, this is the U.S. Department of Agricultural Affairs and we owe you $700. We just have to verify it's you. Please send your driver's license and social security. No. 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 No, 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 no. Anyone who's calling you to ask for your driver's license and social security is calling to rip you off. Okay? They're calling to rip you off. Now, if you apply for a mortgage and I need your driver's license to verify your identity, that's legit. You applied for a mortgage. But if I randomly call you and you've never met me or heard of me and I'm saying I'm from some organization, hang up. You know, there's all the scams where it's like, you owe back taxes. You have to prove you do. That's not the way it works. I can tell you how it works. If you owe taxes or the government thinks you owe taxes, they're going to send you a letter that says, hey, we looked at your tax returns. We totally think you owe us like $900 more. They'll give you no explanation, but we think you owe $900 more for this line item that you'll never remember. They don't call, okay? So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope none of you guys, please watch that movie with Melissa McCarthy and Jason Bateman where she steals his identity. That stuff really happens, okay? It's not as funny as the movie, but it really, really happens. So please be aware, guys. I'm gonna keep up to date with my sister's journey on how she resolves this because it is pretty alarming. It's super alarming. It's so alarming that literally, like I used to have it like $50 transactions. Now it's literally $1. If anyone touches anything of mine with $1, I want to know about it. So as always, if you guys need a mortgage, give me a call. Licensed in 48 states. Identity theft, freeze your credit. Look at those links, verify those links. Anything anyone puts in the comments on these videos, please ignore. There's a lot of bots that like to bot up my videos. Do not trust any of the comments, okay? Thanks so much for watching.